Yeah, this is a statement directly from Harley. And in particular, Harley's director of product sales, Beth Truitt, she said these inventory shortages shouldn't be a surprise. It's all part of the rewire hardwire plan.
It's a plan shortage.
Yeah.
Now,
welcome to another DK Custom Products video. I'm Dwayne. This is Kevin. And today we're going to talk to you guys about something that you've probably experienced yourselves. The Harley dealerships not having bikes, not having parts, not having a lot of things.
so first thing is, if you've watched our video, which we'll link above here, where we talked about shortages worldwide and about USPS problems with shipping, I want to let you know our shipping problems are resolved. We now have better rates with UPS, and as long as a person chooses UPS, we're not having any problems.
I know.
If you choose USPS after reading our notice saying that they're not reliable, that's on you, but our problems are resolved. Almost everybody's choosing UPS. When we do our free shipping on orders over 75 or more in the lower 48, we're using UPS. So our problems are resolved as far as the shipping that you may have seen in that previous video.
Right, and we're a smaller company compared to Harley, so our problems were a much smaller scale. We couldn't get nuts and bolts. They can't get rims and tires.
Yeah, or batteries. Or even oil.
Yeah, we work closely with the local dealerships, and Kevin's going to share some insider information.
So I spoke with both of our local dealerships. We used to have 3. Now we only have 2 because one of them shut down during the pandemic.
And that's Harley dealerships. By my count, I think we've lost 3 dealerships, motorcycle dealerships, an Indian dealership and a Yamaha dealership.
Yeah. So, but I spoke with 2 of them. One of them got 6 bikes in back a month or so ago, and they didn't have any new bikes scheduled to be received by them between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
They said that they hoped that they would get 6 or 7. But the big thing is, when Devin was there the other day, they normally have 40, 50 bikes on the floor. They had 8 bikes on the floor.
Wow.
8 new bikes. When I spoke with this particular dealership, they now have 1 full-time employee that all his only job description is to find used bikes. They have to pay their electric bill, they have to pay their mortgage, they have to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Since they can't get new bikes to sell, they can't get parts to sell, they're out there trying to find used bikes that they can purchase, put on the floor, and resell.
Yeah, and they're not just selling bikes. I drove past there the other day. They had side-by-sides that they were selling, used side-by-sides.
Yeah,
So.
not even Harleys.
Yeah.
So that was one dealership. I talked to another dealership and talked to the owner, talked to him more in depth. And a few of the things that he mentioned were, what did he mention? Okay. A few things he mentioned were, he only has 6 new bikes on the floor. They hope to get 25% of the bikes between now and the end of the year that they got last year.
Wow.
In June through December. Only 25% of what they got. And the demand is higher this year than it was last year, but they're getting 1/4 of the bikes that they got. He hopes that he can get 1/4 of the bikes. And I asked him, what is the deal? And this is what he told me. We're going to share something a little later, straight from Harley. Makes you wonder which is true. But this is what he told me. He told me that when the pandemic hit, Harley revamped their projections of how much they were going to manufacture because they expected demand to be lower. And so now that demand is higher, they're trying to up their production, but they're not being able to because of supply chain issues. So that is what he said. And he listed off, it's not only tires they're having a hard time getting a hold of, batteries they're having a hard time getting a hold of, computer chips they're having a hard time getting a hold of, but now they're having a hard time getting oil.
Yeah.
Not any oil. I'm sure you can probably get Mobil One and stuff like that, but Harley oil is packaged in a Harley package, they placed an order for so much, and they got to get that packaged in the Harley bottles and cans, and they're having a hard time getting enough oil.
And our friend Bowhunter, he just asked the other day, what is the source of this issue? Is it tariffs? What is it?
Yeah, and he wasn't talking just about Harleys. He was, there's so many things that are in short supply. So when he asked that, he asked it in writing, so I was responding to him in writing, and I wanted it to be sort of well thought out, and I just sort of sat down and analyzed what were the major reasons that we've encountered with our different supplies. So the first thing is that during the pandemic, people cut back on production.
Mm-hmm.
They just cut back. And in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of the shutdown where only essential businesses were supposed to be working, we were able to get parts. We were not having a problem if we needed to get K&N filters. We weren't having a problem if we needed to get different nuts, bolts, washers. We weren't having a problem in the beginning because people had a stockpile of them. But we've run through that stockpile.
Yeah.
Our suppliers that we buy from, they don't have a stockpile anymore, and their projections, they had lowered their production, and their production is just not keeping up. Right. And I think that is, worldwide, people have depleted their cushion. They depleted their stockpile of parts. So that's one big thing.
Yeah, and I think we took for granted how easy it was to just get hardware. We make what we can make, but we can't make screws, nuts, and bolts. We just can't, so we have to source it elsewhere.
And you say that. But we have one particular.
We started making our own. Yeah.
We have one particular style bolt that before, if we needed to order 1,000 of them, 5 minutes, either an email or a phone call, we'd order 1,000. We'd have them in a couple of days. Well, over the last couple of months, it's been getting harder and harder to find this particular bolt. It's a breather bolt that has 2 holes drilled into the bolt to let the hot, oily, nasty air come through. And we're having a harder and harder time finding it. And finally, we depleted everybody. Nobody had any.
So we had to make our own.
So we have started making our own breather bolts that go through the banjo fittings.
Right.
And I think we talked about it in the video that we linked above earlier, is that K&N cannot make, I guess that they cut back on their production projections, and they're having a hard time getting geared back up, and they're not getting us filters in anywhere close to a timely manner. So that's one thing. Next thing is there's businesses that are closed up. Nine different companies that we normally did business with, they're just gone.
Yeah.
They're closed. They shut the doors for whatever reasons. Either they couldn't get supplies, people got sick, they weren't listed as essential business, and they went bankrupt. But 9 different businesses, so all kinds of businesses gone out of business. Another big thing is that businesses, and we're still answering Bowhunter's question about what is the source of these shortages.
And another thing, businesses, they're hiring, but they just can't bring anybody on board. I don't want to say people don't want to work, but they can't hire people, so they're short staffed. So the production has ramped down. Yeah,
and did you see the ad back a while ago where McDonald's was paying people $50 just to come in and put in an application? $50 cash, just come in and put in an application. People don't want to work. You say, what did you say? You don't think? Not saying that people don't want to work.
Yeah, I don't want to say nobody wants to work, but
let me tell you. I'm not going to name any names, but I was talking to someone yesterday who wanted to hire an HD certified mechanic, or they call them techs now. He offered the guy $900 a week to work as a tech in his shop. The guy refused and told him straight up, I'm getting $1,000 a week for not working. Why would I come and work for you for $900 a week?
Yeah, I understand the logic, but that's just not sustainable. Take your ass to work.
Yeah. Well, When the guy told him that, he told the guy, when that money runs out from the government, don't come looking to me for a job. So businesses are having a hard time hiring people. Shipments are sitting in the middle of the ocean.
And not just with people getting stuck in the canals and things like that. Like their backlog. Like we'll ship something to Australia, for example, and it won't have a tracking update for 2 weeks. It doesn't take 2 weeks for something to get from here to there. It's just sitting in a container waiting to get processed through customs and waiting for the Postal Service to take control of it. There's just containers just waiting to be unloaded.
Yeah. And the last thing I told Bull Hunter was there's a lot of areas both in the U.S. and internationally where things are still shut down. Now here in Mississippi, we're pretty wide open, and a lot of places pretty wide open.
Right.
It might be hard for people to understand that there's still places shut down, but just go to the New Mexico website. You still can't have gatherings of more than 5 people. You're still not supposed to leave your house unless you're going to the doctor, going to work at an essential business, or going grocery shopping. There's still big sections of the U.S. and of the world that are under some sort of shelter in place or mandates, kind of a thing.
Right.
And so if there's a business that does anodizing or does some sort of work that's part of a bigger process, and they're located in one of those areas that's still shut down or partially shut down, that contributes to the shortages.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a little veer off on just the general nature of things going on besides at Harley. So getting back to Harley specifically regarding shortages, here's what, Dwayne, why don't you read what someone at Harley corporate said about shortages right now.
Yeah, this is a statement directly from Harley. And in particular, Harley's director of product sales, Beth Truitt, she said these inventory shortages shouldn't be a surprise. It's all part of the Rewire Hardwire plan.
It's a planned shortage.
Yeah.
Now, there's no doubt that there are shortages because of supply chain issues. We've been experiencing it for months. But Harley has a plan. I mean, it's planned. It's part of their strategy.
The vibe I get off of it is they didn't want to make too many bikes in case they didn't sell. They're producing just enough bikes to stay afloat.
Yeah.
And see where it goes from there.
And this is also a quote from the same person, Beth, Director of Product Sales at Harley. Our strategy to limit motorcycle product in the showroom is purposely designed to drive exclusivity, which is what you were just saying.
Yeah. Here's how I feel about that. Harleys are not a rare commodity. If you can't go to the dealership and buy a red deluxe, you can get on Facebook Marketplace and buy a red deluxe. So I don't know where they're getting the exclusivity. I mean, I suppose if you want a brand new one, yeah. But I know when I went, you said Harley, Devin recently told us Harley had 8 bikes on the floor. When I went, I had 8 deluxes to choose from. As a matter of which color I wanted.
Well, the thing is that back, I think Harley's trying to return to some of their glory days.
Yeah.
Back when I was 17, which was many decades ago, the manager of the place where I worked had a Harley Sportster.
Yeah.
XLH. He had a Harley XLH. He had put a deposit a year earlier on a new Harley. He had to wait a year. He had to put his money down. He had to wait a year. His new Harley finally came in. He was selling his old Harley. I had a chance to buy it. It didn't work out for me to buy it. But the fact is that he waited a year to get the Harley that he wanted. And then he got top dollar for his used Harley. So it's this contrived shortage that Harley is doing right now is jacking up the used Harley prices slowly but surely, and it's making Harleys more desirable because you can't just go in and choose out of 8 different deluxes.
Right.
Now, if you want to get a new deluxe, you have one. But if you wanted one right now, you'd have to look around for it, and you would pay more than what you paid.
That's true.
That's true. A while back. So there are definitely real shortages. Just look at this photo of all these Ford trucks sitting, just waiting for chips to be put in them before they can go to the dealership and be sold. So there definitely are real shortages. There are some contrived shortages.
So we've touched on the current situation with our local dealerships. I'm sure most people watching this have a dealership within a 100-mile radius. Let us know what it's like at your local dealership.
If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up.
Hit that notification bell so you'll be updated when our next video comes out.
And please subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it.
Y'all ride safe out there.
So we're going to be having a video coming out soon on what to know when you go from 2 wheels to 3.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
So look for that video coming soon. What's really interesting is today was your first time you have ridden a trike.
I've sold thousands of trike parts to thousands of people. That's the first time I've actually operated a trike, and it was an experience.